across to Vikas Saraswat, because the one very simple to understand logic that's being thrown again and again is the BSNL Jio logic, that BSNL never shut down, it still exists. But in just the way that Jio has emerged, it's obviously far more sensible for any consumer to end up with Jio than with BSNL. And the same could happen to the government mandis. They will stay, but their value will keep coming down. The private enterprises will keep coming bigger. Harish Damodaran says if the big corporates want to start their own mandis, they can apply for a license and do so. And then everyone will have the same set of norms to govern them.
So Rahul, even if BSL has become less lucrative, it is out of choice. It is out of the consumer choice. So in the future, if APMCs become less lucrative, that will also happen because the farmers themselves, they are moving to another toward alternative. Where is the grudge? What should be the grudge here? I fail to understand that. It is a choice, and even in that, even if the APMCs do not exist, I don't believe that. But even if it comes to that, it is not going to be a monopoly still, because it's not one corporate which is going to buy all the stuff. There are so many players. It will be an open market. And a couple of things I would like to bring in here, Rahul. See, if the bills were against farmers per se, then this agitation and protests would have been, spontaneous protests would have been there all over India. Only in Punjab. And now a little bit of that we are seeing there in Haryana. Why west of UP is not complaining? In fact, and the second part, MSP. If MSP was really the reason, I think one state which should have been protesting vehemently should be Uttar Pradesh. If you see the facts and figures, it is Uttar Pradesh where the grain, if you compare the output, if you compare the yield to the procurement, it is the least in Uttar Pradesh. Hardly, say, if we take the figures of 2018 and 19, I think just 10% of the wheat was 10% of the total produce. By the way, UP produces twice the amount of wheat what Punjab produces. So only 10% of that has gone into MSP-based procurement by government. So, it is more or less the same case with rice also. Just about 20% of the rice produce has been bought by governments under the MSP protocol. So okay. I fail to understand what these protests are about. It is, if these protests were to erupt organically, they should have ideally erupted from Uttar Pradesh and not from Punjab.
So you're suggesting again and again by using the word organically that you believe that these are inorganic protests.
Yeah, I definitely believe, as you pointed out in the beginning. Yes, I do believe these are propped up agitations. And the kind of language what we are seeing, and it's not just one player. Over and over, you are seeing several players. Today, what Yogaraj Singh, Yuvraj's father, was speaking is again, this is not the language of agitation and protest. You see pro-Khalistani slogans over there, and you see this kind of thug street kind of language, pedestrian kind of language over there. It's basically what is happening for the last 5-6 years under some guise or the other, making one demography, one profession as the victim. First it was the students, FTII students, or be it Jadavpur, JNU students. Then you had another group of protests in the name of CA and NRC. And then you had Bhima Koregaon. So it's continuously protest. There is a section both in the, the opposition, and there are certain groups also which are not comfortable.